Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Billy. Today I'd like to share with you two capes that I made using the new look pattern 65H6. And as you can see from the envelopes, the cape is actually pretty straightforward in its construction. It has a center front, and then for the front of the cape, it was two pieces overlapping, and then two front side pieces. And then for the bag, it has a center bag and two side pieces in the bag. And also has a bit of a flap, or I guess not a flap, a bit of a belt detail in the bag. And I thought that was very pretty. And I've been a fan of capes, but then of course I could never, somehow just could never find them in the stores. And then when I started sewing my own clothes, at the beginning of this year, I was determined to make a cape for myself. And so I chose this one because this one appeared to have this simplest constructions. And so I'm very happy I tried it. So the first one that I will show you is this cape with a red wool fabric. Has a bit of a plaid looking, but it just really squares. And the fabric texture looks like this. And I got this material from Mo's website. And it's a very lightweight wool, but it's really quite warm. So I'm very happy with it. It doesn't, it's not too heavy. So you don't feel that you're being weighed down. So here's the front of this cape. And then this is the back of the cape. And then for the instructions, it was incredibly confusing about exactly the facing. So I just ignored the whole thing and made it as if I normally would when lining a dress. So I lined this cape with this pink China silk that I have. And so as you can see, the cape's construction is, the front, you actually cut out 4 of the center fronts because the 2 would be the outside of the cape, and the 2 will serve as your interior facing, like this. And so it's actually very easy to cut out the lining pieces because I just cut out identical, because then it's like this. So I just cut out the center bag and 2 centers, 2 backs, 2 sides for the back, and also 2 sides for the front. And then the interior already had this, so it was pretty straightforward. And then the construction according to the pattern instructions are actually, you basically sew two, the outside and then the inside separately. Then you can, and then you also attach the neckband. But as you can see, the neckband here is actually connected by 2 pieces. So then you sew up the front with the neckband already, and then the interior with the neckband already. Then you connect them here. So as a result, there is a seam here. And this is one feature I'm not crazy about this instruction, because then that gives me a bulk at the neck. But because this fabric is very soft, so it was not an issue. But I did something different for my next project that I will show you shortly. And so it was very easy, and I really, made this cape up just really maybe in 3 hours at most, and it was pretty straightforward. The only thing that gave me trouble was the buttonhole. And this is also the first time I did buttonholes in all of my garments. And then because even though it was not super thick, it's just too thick for my sewing machine to really work at it very easily. So what I ended up doing was, here's a buttonhole. So what I ended up doing was actually, instead of supposedly the 1-step automatic buttonholes, I actually had to do 4 steps. And in the meantime, I'm picking it many times. But fortunately, I don't mind too much about unpicking because I do want them to look nice. And because obviously once you cut the buttonholes open, there's no going back. So here's a quick video of this cape. I paired it with a pair of blue jeans and a pair of black flats, and I thought that was perfect for a weekend outing. If you're just meeting friends for brunch, that would be perfect. So overall, I'm very pleased with this project. And the second video is where I paired it with a short wool skirt that I purchased many years ago from H&M. And I paired it with a pair of black tights and black flats. And that looks a bit dressy, but it still looks equally put together. So I'm also very pleased with it. So after the pink cape, I was so pleased with it, I decided to make another one in black wool. And I originally made this for a friend of mine. She had a big birthday coming up. And even though our sizes are not the same, and I thought that a cape would be a good gift because you do not need exact sort of measurements to wear the cape. And so this is the cape that I made. And I made this with a wool coating material and really identical in all respect. But for here, I paired it with a sort of a metal, sort of a bronze finish type of buttons. And I thought it was very nice. And then, so the back looks like this. And this material is a much heavier gauge. So it was much harder to work with. I actually broke a needle while sewing this thing. So for this one, I made two changes from the original version. That's number one, because I was not thrilled with how the collar was constructed, because it would have a seam there, so I wasn't crazy about it. So for this one, black one, I cut the collar pieces on the bias. So that allowed me to just fold it over. And so here is a very smooth sort of a continuation without the bulky seam. But the mistake that I made with this one was because this fabric has quite a stiff drape. So it doesn't lie perfectly flat, because you do have to twist it a bit, being cut on the bias, but it has not been an issue. So overall, I'm quite pleased how this one came out. And this one, like before, I also lined it, but this one, I lined it with black China silk. But the second change that I made was I added pockets. Here, it's hard to see, but basically, for the interior facing, I added pockets here since I thought it would be nice to have pockets for the cape. And so I put it on the inside, so one on either side of it. And overall, I was very pleased. And this one also, the buttonhole was quite a struggle, even more so than the pink one, because this fabric is really thick and incredibly densely woven, which of course made it very warm, but also makes it a bit of a challenge to sew it. So here is a quick video of this cape. And I also paired it with a simple pair of black jeans, and really was happy how this came out. And then the second video is I paired it with the same short skirt that I purchased many years ago from H&M, and with the pair of black ties and the pair of black flats. And overall, I am very pleased how this cape turned out. I originally made this black cape with my friend in mind, intending this to be a birthday gift for her. However, I talked to her after I finished making it, and she told me that while she liked the shape of a cape was just not practical in New York City living. And here is why. Because the arms are inside the cape, and therefore if you take the New York City subway, you can stick your arm out and hold on to the bars for stability. So that's number one. So you have to make sure you actually try to hold on to the bars at the entrance of the subway car, where the bar is vertical and not horizontal. So that's number one. Number two is also, she is forever carrying a giant shoulder bag, like most New York City women do. And as a result, because you can stick your arm out and hold on to the strap of your shoulder bag, that significantly restricts the utility of a cape. So she very politely and gracefully declined my my offer of this cape. So I ended up taking her out to a nice dinner at a nice restaurant instead, and we had a great time. And so now I would keep this black cape for myself, and I think it's actually perfect. because if you're not using this cape for, just going out for a nice dinner, you're not carrying a giant shoulder bag. So if you're carrying a small handheld little purse, then that's perfectly fine. And I originally looked into having some sort of opening at the shoulders after my friend's comment, and I decided none of the options was attractive, and because also we sewn this up and every single opening was already sewn shut, I just didn't feel like going back and unpicking a huge portion of the cape just to insert the opening and make sure everything lined up. So I decided to let it go. But overall, I'm very happy with this cape, and I had exactly the cape that I've always wanted, so I'm very happy. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope I will see you soon. Bye bye.